Learning French in Medieval England is an AHRC-funded project that will produce a digital edition of the Tretiz. The Tretiz is a 13th century text for teaching French, written by Walter de Bibbesworth, an Essex knight, apparently at the request of a noblewoman called Dionyse de Montcensi. That's according to a prologue that's found in several manuscripts of the text and which present it as designed for teaching French to noble children. It's a remarkable text for a number of reasons. First of all, it's the earliest surviving French teaching text written anywhere. And it's not surprising that it's played a key role in debates about the nature and spread of French in medieval England and of how the language was learned. Its form is also arresting. It's written in rhymed French octosyllabic couplets, and it presents in playful fashion topics such as occupations like beer brewing, weaving, cart making, names of animals and plants, parts of the human body, and even a list of noises that animals make. It also delights in sophisticated wordplay, especially puns, which are used to demonstrate the differences between words that sound similar. So one early passage distinguishes between le lèvre, the hair, la lèvre, the lip, le livre, the book, and la livre, the pound. Most strikingly, all of the surviving manuscripts, bar one, include English glosses keyed to individual French words, either in the margin or between the lines. So each manuscript is a kind of intralingual conversation, which opens a window onto a whole range of lexis from Middle English and Old French. Scholars who work on the Tretiz tend to refer to one of the two individual manuscript editions prepared by William Rothwell, and that's fine as far as it goes. But the variation in both text and gloss between individual manuscripts make it impossible to speak of one single unified Tretiz text. Each manuscript has to be understood as an instantiation of the text, with each with its individual particularities. And that's why this project aims to make the whole textual record of the Tretiz available for the scholarly community.
The Tretiz survives in 16 manuscripts, plus one fragment which was later used as a sewing guard for printed volume. And that's a fair amount of manuscripts for a 13th century text, even if they do typically date from slightly later, so between the early 14th and first part of the 15th centuries. This degree of manuscript variation means that a digital edition really is the best way for us to go when it comes to editing the Tretiz. An edition like ours will allow us to encode and present many more manuscripts than we could with a traditional print edition. And this is particularly important for a text that was produced across more than a century and has versions that number 300 lines and are in roll form, as well as versions that number over 1,000 lines and are in the codex form. We're also very excited about the potential that a digital edition might have for making the glosses to these texts more accessible and searchable across multiple manuscripts as well. So when we're encoding a manuscript at the moment, what we're doing is we're marking up the glosses separately and using the target attribute to link them back to the French text. In the French text itself, we're then using the key attribute to link the subjects of glosses together across manuscripts, which will allow us to give users the chance to see how the same word or phrase was glossed in different manuscripts and in different situations. So a digital edition really is a very exciting prospect for us, and it's also one that we're looking forward to making available to the many scholars from many different disciplines who want to work with the Tretiz.
Of course, it hasn't all been plain sailing in the teeth of a pandemic. During the UK-wide spring lockdown in particular, we had to accept that our progress was going to be severely hampered. And since then, we've had to really think about which were the core aspects of our project that we wanted to protect. We've also relied heavily on the archival and digitisation teams at the research libraries where our manuscripts are housed. Several Tretiz manuscripts are already available in digital form, and so we focused on working with those first. And we're currently negotiating to get digital copies of the others on the assumption that access to research libraries is going to remain challenging heading into 2021. Despite these challenges, we're really excited about how the project is going, and we look forward to sharing our results with you next year.